Martin Luther King said that a leader is not a searcher of consensus, they're a molder of consensus. This country needs to shut down and you all need to suffer. I told you to go on a general strike. You know what you said? I have a job, I can't afford to. I have a job, I can't afford to. I can't afford to. That's cool, great. So now you're going to be forced to be uncomfortable. You're going to be forced to lose your job. You were unwilling to be uncomfortable.
This is for any Democratic congressman out there with any balls or a spine. Shut it down. The government isn't functioning anyway. Everything we need is gone. $20 billion to Argentina? Who approved that? Who voted for that? How did Congress give up their Article 1 power? And Mike Johnson will not swear in the Congresswoman from Arizona? What, she might vote to release the Epstein files?
I think when I say this, I speak for most people. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Folks, we're headed for a government shutdown next week, so be sure to like, share, comment, repost, do all of the things and get this out there because this administration, led by Mango Mussolini, wants to, quote, inflict maximum pain. Charming. As if we can endure any more than we are now?
The Babylonian Empire, oh my goodness, it's crumbling. Each and every other day, problems seem to, just escalate, come more and more. And this is not me to fearmonger anybody. But ladies and gentlemen, it is obvious and it is on the news that the Babylonian Empire is, scheduled to shut down on the 1st of October because they don't have money anymore to run the government and they have not come to an agreement on the funding. Yeah, so the solution is to shut it down and everybody has to suffer. Services have to go. Now, unfortunately, more than ever, just like Trump has been wanting to, fire so many people, he's already laid off so many people. Yeah, more others are about to lose their jobs in the federal government, unfortunately. The reason as to why Democrats are like, they don't want to, come to terms with this whole budget and bill. They're like, millions of Americans are going to be losing their health care. Meanwhile, Trump says that is the Democrats trying to protect, illegal aliens. Yeah, you can make these things up. But hey, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing all right. Today we have this, and we come with reactions of Americans on this. A lot of them are like, you know what? Let it burn. Let it burn because of white people that are so hateful that, they could not vote for a black woman that could have prevented all of this. So let's see how y'all are going to benefit with this whole entire year. But hey, I think it's a lot of talking. I want us to watch these reactions from Americans about the government shutdown that is scheduled to be on the 1st of October. We'll come back and talk about it. Do me a favor, like the video. Don't forget to share, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comment section.
The US government will officially run out of money at the end of September. If Congress can't strike a deal by then, the government shuts down at midnight on Tuesday. So what does that mean for Americans? Millions of federal workers won't get their paychecks. National parks and museums will close. But here's the thing, tens of thousands of federal employees, including airport security staff, air traffic controllers and the military, still have to go to work without pay. Social security payments could be delayed too. We've seen shutdowns before, but this one could hit differently. The White House has asked federal agencies to prepare plans for mass layoffs. We're not talking about temporary furloughs where workers come back once the government reopens. These would be permanent. Bear in mind that about 300,000 federal workers have already been laid off or left their jobs this year. So the stakes are high and the odds don't look good. Congress last agreed a spending bill back in early 2024. Since then, they've just rolled over existing spending. Even that looks unlikely to pass this time. It would end key healthcare subsidies, so Democrats say they won't vote for it. President Trump cancelled a meeting with leading Democrats this week. In 2018, Trump walked away from negotiations in his first term. The result, a 34-day shutdown, the longest in US history. Now the clock is ticking and millions of Americans are about to feel the impact.
Let me be very clear about the president and the White House's position. All we are asking for is a common sense, clean funding resolution, a continuing resolution to keep the government open. This is a bill that keeps the government funded at the exact same levels as today, just adjusted for inflation. So there is zero good reason for the Democrats to vote against this, especially when the Democrats have voted for this 13 previous times as recently as March. And so this is the reasonable and common sense thing to do. The president is giving Democrat leadership one last chance to be reasonable, to come to the White House today to try to talk about this. And now is not the time to try to get political points against Donald Trump. Now is the time to do right by the American people and keep the government funded. Our most vulnerable in our society and our country will be impacted by a government shutdown. Everybody knows this, and that's why Republicans and the president want to keep the government open, and we welcome Democrats to join us in that effort.
3 days, and if things don't change, well, it's going to impact a lot of people's lives. Number one, thousands of federal employees will be either furloughed or completely fired, losing their jobs for indefinite periods of time. Some will be fired completely by the Trump administration. In addition, many military families will be impacted because they too may be placed on furlough. National parks will close pretty soon thereafter a government shutdown begins. Eventually, if it lasts long enough, critical programs like Medicare could be impacted in terms of enrollment. And that's not all. The longer it goes, you theoretically could have reduced TSA presence at airports, which means longer wait times at airports, and so much more. A government shutdown is now 3 days away. The federal government is funded through September 30th. If they don't reach a deal, Republicans, Democrats, well, it's going to shut down on October 1st. And all right now, all signs point to a government shutdown beginning at midnight on October 1st. So spread the word because this is important. Follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I will have much more to come very soon.
Martin Luther King said that a leader is not a searcher of consensus, they're a molder of consensus. This country needs to shut down and you all need to suffer. I told you to go on a general strike. You know what you said? I have a job, I can't afford to. I have a job, I can't afford to. I can't afford to. That's cool, great. So now you're going to be forced to be uncomfortable. You're going to be forced to lose your job. You were unwilling to be uncomfortable. When you look at the civil rights movement, they were all uncomfortable. Solitary confinement. Look what happened to John Lewis. Kaepernick lost his job. Many people were beaten and mistreated, but not white Americans. Nope. I can't afford to. Oh, I don't want to be uncomfortable. Oh, I have a job. Yeah. That's called white privilege, and that's what you're still hiding behind is your whiny little me. Look what happened in Nepal. They stood up and they took them out of power. You don't think those people live paycheck to paycheck? You think they're all rich? No. They did what was necessary to stop what was happening to their country. But you're not even willing to be financially uncomfortable. So now you're going to be forced to. Yes, I hope the Democrats find a backbone and don't shut it down. Do I have any faith in them? No, none, zero. But this country needs to go through this. And remember this for the people that chose to be privileged and not to be uncomfortable, how you stood behind it and watched people in concentration camps, women losing their pregnancies, people passing away. You saw people getting their arms dislocated. You saw women and men having their families broke up after 40 or 50 years, good people, and you stood by and goes, well, that really sucks, but I'm not going to stand up for them because I have to worry about myself. They're just a stranger. Cool. Then you remember that when you lose your goddamn job because you choose to sit there and watch other people suffer while you lived off of your crumbs. Shut the country down. I hope that the Democrats find a backbone among them and say, we're not going to do this. They do not have the Congress or the Senate or the presidency. Let them shut the whole goddamn thing down. Hearing Democrats say, oh, well, I want these 1, 2, or 3 things in the bill to pass, otherwise we're going to pass it. Off. With all due respect, screw off, you Democrats. You got people in concentration camps. You got people in masked and unmarked cars. You got military in Portland. You have armed National Guard all throughout this country now. You have basically a fascist dictator who's tanking the economy, who's going after his political enemies. But if he agrees to these terms, we're going to sign the bill because we want to be reelected for the midterms. We want to find common ground. No, you're not. Burn it down. If that's what has to happen, then let it happen. Martin Luther King said that a true leader is not a searcher of consensus, they are a molder. Democrats and Republicans are searchers of consensus. They tell people what they want to hear to make them feel good, so you'll give them $10. Screw off. This needs to happen. For 6 months, I pushed a general strike. And the majority of people that didn't want to do it, I can't afford to. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to work. I can't afford to. I have a job. Everybody watching this video has a job, has a family, has car payments, has gas, has electric bills, has to buy food. All of us do. That is white privilege in its purest form. And you're watching.
This is for any Democratic congressman out there with any balls or a spine. Shut it down. The government isn't functioning anyway. Everything we need is gone. $20 billion to Argentina? Who approved that? Who voted for that? How did Congress give up their Article 1 power? And Mike Johnson will not swear in the Congresswoman from Arizona? What, she might vote to release the Epstein files that Peter Thiel is now in? Steve Bannon? Elon Musk? Shut the f***ing government down. It's not doing anything good for anybody anyway. It is a total disaster. We are the embarrassment of the world. Do your jobs and shut it down. Find your balls, find your spine, and shut it down.
But what the Trump administration is doing right now with this shutdown threat isn't really about a budget. It's about control. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you can see exactly how they're trying to play the American people. Now, normally, right, when the government shuts down, workers are furloughed. They take a pause and then they come back once the shutdown ends. But this time, Trump's team is saying, no, no, no. Permanent firings. That's not a plan to save money. That's intimidation. It's a fear tactic because when people are scared of losing their jobs, they're less likely to speak up. They're less likely to push back. They're less likely to resist. That's how you control the workforce without passing a single law. Now, pay attention to this part. The Office of Management and Budget told agencies to cut jobs that don't, quote, align with Trump's agenda. That has nothing to do with whether the jobs actually helps Americans. It's about whether it benefits him. That's authoritarian psychology 101. It's saying your survival depends on the loyalty to one man instead of service to the country. And here's the bigger game. By threatening whole programs like education and healthcare and housing, even scientific research, Trump positions himself as the one who decides if you get to eat, if you get to keep your healthcare, if your kids get an education. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When people start to feel like they have no power to change things, they stop trying. They stop fighting back. And that's exactly what leaders like this want. At the same time, he's still shouting, America first. But think about it. If you're cutting education for kids, healthcare for families, housing support for struggling communities, that is not America's first. That is Trump first. That's gaslighting. That's saying one thing while doing the opposite and hoping you're too confused to call it out. And at the heart of all of this is a narcissist playbook. Create a crisis, break the system, scare the people, and claim you're the only one who can fix it. It's chaos by design. And the cost doesn't fall on him or his billionaire friends. It falls on you, your job, your family, and your future. So here's the real lesson. Don't just watch the politics, watch the psychology. Every move is designed to make you afraid, to make you dependent, and to make you quiet. But once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And once you see it, you can call it what it is. Because at the end of the day, folks, if the president is willing to sacrifice your paycheck, your health care, and your child's education just to protect his own power, we have to ask ourselves, how much longer are we going to sit quiet and let fear control us? By holding jobs and healthcare and housing programs hostage, Trump positions himself like the provider, like the father figure who decides if you eat, if you have healthcare, if you keep a roof over your head.
I think when I say this, I speak for most people. Shut it down. Shut it the fuck. Shut it down. Shut it down. Because this is just absurd that these people control everything. But yet here we are again, right? And we shall see if, these people have learned their lesson from the last debacle that they, did when it came to this, instead of letting them shut it down. But yeah, shut it down. We deserve a break. We, the people, deserve a break. I deserve a break. I deserve a vacation to just lay in bed for a week and do absolutely nothing. Not having to commute, nothing. Not having to use my brain, nothing. Not having to apologize about what's going on when people are contacting you. Right? Having to say, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I don't think people understand how emotionally taxing this entire year has been on people. I don't think people get it. But yeah, shut it down.
Folks, we're headed for a government shutdown next week, so be sure to like, share, comment, repost, do all of the things and get this out there because this administration, led by Mango Mussolini, wants to, quote, inflict maximum pain. Charming. As if we can endure any more than we are now? Great. How is he going to do this? Well, there are reports of potential mass firings of federal employees. So, the ones that still have their job might not as of next week. There's that weird military meeting where apparently Hegseth wants to give a speech on being a warrior. Woo. That's not suspicious at all. Now, there will still be essential services. Medicare, Social Security payments will go out. There better be VA benefits. That best not be touched. But yeah, the meeting that was scheduled between Chuck Schumer, Trump, and Hakeem Jeffries canceled. So no negotiations. And the one continuing resolution that the House tried to get through the Senate failed. And it failed for valid reasons, okay? The Republicans control all three branches of government. This shutdown is on them. They want it. They want the American people to feel pain. They told us that. They said we're going to have to deal with a little bit of pain. How much are they considering a little bit at this point?
So the government might shut down on Tuesday, September 30th. And honestly, as a government employee, I'm to the point where it's just like, do it. Like, do it. Like, at this point, how many continuing resolutions, how many scare tactic pranks, how many, we're going to make it painful. He just came out and said, we're going to make it the worst of the worst. We're going to make it painful for people. At this point, I'm calling your bluff. For real. Because a couple of months ago, you fired a lot of people and now you want them back. So at this point, I'm calling your bluff. Go ahead, shut it down. Shut it down. Give me a little vacation. Yes, it's upset not being able to get paid. But at the end of the day, you're not about to keep telling me like a ragtail doll. Okay? Shut it down.
All right, listen, I need you to hear me. There's a 5-alarm fire happening in this country and Donald Trump is pouring gasoline on it. He just said that he wants to inflict maximum pain on the American people. And of course, his administration is going to go right along with that. Let that venomous phrase sink into your brain. Maximum pain. He does not give a single damn about who this hurts. Our own king president, a man who swore an oath to protect and serve the American citizens, is publicly relishing in the thought of our suffering. Us, our families, our friends and neighbors. He is salivating at the chaos. This isn't the old playbook. Any government program that isn't funded by September 30th, those employees won't be furloughed. They will be fired, flat out terminated, adding to the already 148,000 federal workers who have been fired or forced to resign since the beginning of this year. These aren't just numbers. They are families. These are people with mortgages, car payments, sky-high energy bills, expensive groceries, and many with kids in school. They are being thrown to the wolves so that Donald Trump can make a political point. His attitude is simple. We have a government shutdown, then we have one. He is shrugging his shoulders at the collapse of our basic services. The deadline is in 4 days. At midnight, September 30th, the clock runs out. There's no deal made, then we enter a shutdown October 1st. And in a twist of cruel irony, or is it, that is the exact day that the new tariffs that he imposed in the dead of night last night will slam into the economy. Tariffs on pharmaceutical drugs, imported trucks, furniture, and other goods. So picture this, because this is the future they are designing and a stark reality. A mother, a federal employee, gets a termination notice. She loses her health insurance. And on that very same day, she goes to the pharmacy to get her child's asthma medication. And the price has exploded, more than doubled, because of the new tariffs. She is left with no income, no insurance, and a bill that she cannot pay. This is not a government. This is a weapon aimed directly at the heart of American people. They're not trying to govern, they're trying to break us. So I have to ask you, America, and I ask this with every ounce of urgency that I have, what are we going to do about it? When are we going to do more than just march in the streets?
Why is the government always about to have a shutdown over the fucking financial budget planning? I literally don't understand how this problem occurs every year. And then the funniest part is when they do the audit, there's always $30 billion or something unaccounted for. What is the purpose of doing the budget if every year y'all blow the fucking budget? And I know y'all are thinking about like, oh, the Republicans, like, I'm not even thinking about that. Because in my eyes, Democrats and Republicans are the same sides of the same coin, right? I'm thinking about my money, right? That money, because the government budget is our taxes. The government don't bring in no money. They're not making no motherfucking coins. That's our money that we pay into the system every fucking year. So when I hear government budget, I'm thinking, where my say-so at, right? Y'all talking about y'all putting the budget together. I feel like I need to be overseeing the motherfucking money. Because not only can y'all not decide on the budget, every year y'all blow the fucking budget. Like, to me, it's so much deeper than planning the budget at this point. Keep sending all of our fucking money to Israel. You keep sending all our money, all these bullshit ass places, spending all our money on these initiatives that don't make any sense. Y'all keep working against the interests of the people. Why the fuck am I paying taxes? I'm being for real. I'm not. Tax season is coming again, Americans. And y'all gonna have to make some real choices. Some tough decisions. Because it's getting to a point. I don't think I can keep participating in the system. Fuck the budget. I'm trying to make sure y'all ain't got a fucking dollar to spend.
We all have to get behind the Democrats calling for a shutdown. And Trump supporters, I am talking to you too. We need the Affordable Care Act subsidies to become permanent. And over 50 conservative groups are urging Trump to let them expire. And let me tell you, this is one example of the math. A couple who are 55 years old, collectively bringing in $85,000 a year, currently pay, on average, in healthcare premiums, $7,500 a year. If these Affordable Care Act subsidies expire, their premium, are you listening to me, Trump supporters? Their premium jumps to $24,000 a year. So while the billionaire class continues to become ungodly wealthy under this administration, private healthcare insurers and all of their executives are going to make a shit ton of money because they'll get to charge you another $17,000 a year. Just a couple making $85,000 a year. A lot of us don't make that much. Who can afford to have 25% of their income go to healthcare premiums? We're just going to become uninsured. No one's going to be able to afford that. Are you ready for this, Trump supporters? Instead of owning the libs, can we not all get together and agree this is really, really, really bad and it's okay to jump sides one issue at a time? Can you do that to save yourselves? Please.
So we're just days away from a government shutdown, and Dookie Booty want to be petty, and he don't want to meet with the Democrats. After reviewing the details of the unserious and ridiculous demands being made by the minority radical left Democrats in return for their votes to keep our thriving country open, I have decided that no meeting with their congressional leaders could possibly be productive. They are threatening to shut down the government of the United States unless they can have over $1 trillion in new spending to continue free health care for illegal aliens, a monumental cost, force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery for minors, have dead people on Medicaid rolls, allow illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars in American taxpayer benefits, try to force our country again to open our borders to criminals and to the world, allow men to play in women's sports, and essentially create transgender operations for everybody. These radical left views and policies is what allowed me to win the presidential election, including in all swing states and the popular vote in a historic landslide. There are consequences to losing elections, but based on their letter to me, the Democrats haven't figured that out yet. They are trying to eliminate the popular $50 billion rural and vulnerable hospital fund, which was passed with only Republican votes and proudly signed into law by me. The Democrats in the Congress seem to have totally lost their way. They obviously have no idea what it means to put America first or to make America great again. All congressional Democrats want to do is enact radical left policies that nobody voted for, high taxes, open borders, no consequences for violent criminals, men and women's sports, taxpayer-funded transgender surgery, and much more. Few people voted for what they represent, which would lead to the destruction of America. Instead, people voted for common sense, and that's what the Republicans and your president, Donald J. Trump, stand for. I look forward to meeting with them if they get serious about our future and our nation. We must keep our government open and legislate like true patriots, rather than hold American citizens hostage, knowing that they want our now thriving country closed. I'll be happy to meet with them if they agree to the principles in this letter. They must do their job. Otherwise, it'll be a long and brutal slog through the radicalized quicksand. To the leaders of the Democrat Party, the ball is in your court. When you become realistic about the things that our country stands for. Do the right thing. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Dookie Booty so fucking petty. Why he gotta be so fucking petty? So it looked like we're going to have a government shutdown because they don't reconvene until the 29th and they have until the 30th. So that gives them 24 fucking hours to come to an agreement on this goddamn budget. But if we do go into a government shutdown, just know that Social Security ain't going to be touched, VA benefits aren't going to be touched, and they're still going to be operating the military as normal. But we don't need to have no government shutdown. But I hope the Dems stay strong because we need this fucking healthcare. They're fighting to get our fucking healthcare back. That's what that $1 trillion budget is that they're negotiating. Yeah, that's for our fucking healthcare. That's for Medicaid, Medicare. That's for SNAP benefits. That's so that they can extend these subsidies that they're trying to get rid of. So hopefully Dookie Booty stop being ass and actually meet with them. Hopefully something happens so we don't got to go through no government shutdown. I don't know exactly what's going to happen if we do go through a government shutdown. It seems like some unnecessary bullshit. But Dems, y'all better stand y'all ground and try to fight for our fucking healthcare because we need that shit.
We are on the cusp of another government shutdown here in America. The deadline is October 1st, and it looks pretty likely that this government will be shut down because the offers promulgated by the Republicans are ridiculous and inequitable. Of course, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer will probably bend over as he usually does. But in advance of that, more than 100,000 federal workers have decided to take their future into their own hands and mobilized for the largest ever mass resignation of government employees in our history. This is Trump's legacy right here. Every one of these 100,000 workers have families, have mortgages to pay, have rent to pay, have food to put on the table. And this is how we treat them, just as how they are always treated like pawns every time there is a squabble in the Senate. This really needs to be reformed so that our government doesn't have workers who are constantly living in jeopardy. I mean, once we straighten out the present shit show and restore a lot of the departments that have been completely cut and deracinated thanks to fucking Donald Trump. This is a ridiculous way for any government to operate, and we have been doing this for years, and it needs to stop. There needs to be a more effective way of keeping the government going as opposed to these constant fucking shutdowns because a bunch of wildly arrogant fucking people can't actually hash anything out or be reasonable with each other.
So the government's going to shut down on October 1st because the Republicans need 7 Democrats to vote to pass the budget bill, and they refuse. So this is all the Democrats' fault. Wait a second. Do you want to pay $7,000 more for your insurance a year? No, of course not. Oh, cool. So we agree that we do not want the Democrats to vote for this budget bill. Wait, what? Yeah, see, the reason the Democrats don't want to pass this bill is that it just extends funding and does nothing to fix anything. This big, beautiful bill is going to destroy healthcare access. So they're holding strong to restore those healthcare cuts. Not with Fox News. Oh, not done yet. The Democrats even tried to meet with Trump to talk about it, and then he canceled the meeting. So tell me again, who's blocking progress? Probably just the art of the deal. I mean, do you want 15 million Americans to lose insurance? Like over 300 rural hospitals to close? 500,000 healthcare workers to lose their job? No. Not to mention everything that happens when the government shuts down. I mean, I don't know. I think we need food inspections. Republicans just want to save this country money. Yeah, the last shutdown cost us $11 billion. So now that you understand that, do you think maybe you could call your reps and tell them to give back the healthcare they stole from us? Oh, it feels so good. I know. We call that embracing reality. Welcome back.
Trump threatens mass firings if government shuts down, but I thought the Republicans had control of the Senate. Oh, hey, can you actually help me out? Actually, would you mind explaining this?
Sure thing, Nathan. We're in a healthcare emergency. Right now, people are losing their healthcare coverage, millions of Americans. Rural hospitals are shutting down, community health centers are closing. Little kids with cancer who are depending on research are just all losing out. And instead of negotiating with Democrats to get those things back for people, Republicans just want to shut the government down. Hopefully that answered your question, Nathan. Anything more?
I mean, while I have you, yeah, can you do anything about these crazy concert ticket prices? Because Gaga was so expensive.
Okay, Nathan, buckle up. We're going to do antitrust law next.
Okay, so here's the number that we all need to know. Every week the government shut down, the economy loses about $7 billion. Now that's not Washington's money, that's your money. That's your jobs. That's your services on the line. And while the economy bleeds, President Trump is preparing mass layoffs, not just furloughs. That means hundreds of thousands of federal workers could lose not only their paychecks, but their jobs. This isn't a budget dispute anymore. This is a power play. So here's what Democrats should demand if they want to fight back for the people. One is to protect healthcare, because without extending ACA premium credits, millions of families will see their health insurance skyrocket overnight. Number two would be protect workers. Trump wants to turn the temporary shutdown into permanent firings. Democrats must guarantee no layoffs, period. Number three, keep essential services running. TSA, FDA inspections, disaster relief, flood insurance. These can't be bargaining chips. Number 4, put guardrails on presidential power. Right now, Trump gets to pick and choose what stays open. That's too much power in one man's hands. Congress must set limits. Number 5, they need to guarantee worker relief. Back pay is too little too late. Workers need emergency funds to cover rent, groceries, and bills during this shutdown. And lastly, number 6, in this hostage game once and for all, pass a rule that if Congress can't agree, the government automatically keeps running for 90 days. No more shutdowns as a weapon. Family, every one of these demands ties back to one principle. The government should serve the people, not the president's agenda. So I'll leave you with this. If $7 billion a week could vanish just because of politics, ask yourself, who's really paying the price for this shutdown?
We have to realize the Democrats, their whole argument is we are going to shut down the government unless you give $1 trillion for medical benefits for illegal aliens. The major healthcare reform that we've done in this administration is we've made it harder to give your hard-earned tax dollars to medical benefits for illegal aliens. The Democrats want to undo that. And they're saying that unless you give that money to those illegal aliens, unless you give those benefits to those illegal aliens, we are going to shut down the people's government.
Lock in, fuck niggas. We about to fact check this shit. First, if you fuck with me, check out that podcast. Let's get it. What the hell is he talking about? Your vice president is lying to you. So if you don't know, the Democrats are trying to negotiate better healthcare costs and try to reverse the damages that the One Big Beautiful Bill does. And one of those damages is cutting $1 trillion from Medicaid and food stamps. You see, JD Vance claims that the Democrats are trying to get over $1 trillion in medical care for undocumented migrants. First of all, undocumented migrants aren't eligible for Medicaid. The Democrats are also asking for an extension for the Affordable Care Act. And if there isn't an extension, we're gonna see premiums skyrocket for Americans. And even with this government shutdown, this wouldn't stop Donald Trump's plan. Yeah, Trump will still be doing his mass deportation. It's just his officers wouldn't be paid anymore.
You better hold tight to your money because the Congress is shutting down in 2 days. Now, this government shutdown means that a lot of federal workers will be sent home and some of them will even get laid off. This will also impact TSA services, national parks, even environmental OSHA services, and small businesses. Now, regardless of how long the government stays shut down, services such as public safety and defense, which are deemed as essential, will not be directly impacted, as well as Social Security and Medicaid as well. Now, government shutdowns are not new. The problem is that we never had one in this current economical climate. Economists say that for each week that the government stays shut down, it costs the US $7 billion. So please hold tight to your money because we don't know how long this will last.
I'm sorry, what? The U.S. is in talks to give $20 billion to Argentina to bail them out. $20 billion. Yet here we are, we can't even keep the government open. They can't get their shit together enough to avoid a government shutdown. Our job market is in the toilet. Our farmers are losing. Groceries are now higher, not lower, higher. Our electric bill is now outpacing all of our other utility bills put together. You've taken food out of the mouths of children in America. You're constantly screaming from the rooftops, America first. So why are we sending $20 billion to Argentina to bail them out when we can't even wipe our ass? Where are you getting this $20 billion to send to Argentina? Is it coming out of your pocket? Because we don't have that. We had this whole ridiculous department to weed out waste and fraud. Yet all we've done since you came into office is spend money unnecessarily. A ballroom, a whole new front lawn, outfitting a new plane. Seems like all we seem to be doing is lining the pockets of already rich people. He's making all the adjustments to the White House so he could leave? Wrong. This is so he could stay indefinitely. People don't invest money in remodels unless they plan on enjoying it. But I digress. Going back. So is it really America first? Or is it him first? Then his rich friends. And where's the American people on that scale? Nowhere to be found. Just like the 1,200 immigrants, he disappeared.
They're showing us what's going to happen before it happens. They are preparing for a mass shutdown and layoff, okay? They have already sent agencies notifications and said, when we shut down this time, people aren't going on furlough, they're being fired. And they are not coming back. They are letting people know ahead of time. They want thousands of jobs cut in the government, which could be a good thing. And I work for the government. I'm working right now. Well, not really working because I work for the government, but if it shuts down, it's going to last a little while. And whatever happens is going to be way more permanent than it usually is. It's not going to be a shutdown for a couple of days and they pass something in the mind and we just keep chugging along. Things are about to change. Jobs are going to get cut. People are going to get fired. And those are going to be taken over by different agencies, by AI, because we don't need certain jobs. We just don't.
The U.S. government is set to shut down October 1st if Congress does not pass a budget. Here is exactly what benefits and services will and will not be affected. National parks and monuments, many will have to close or limit access. Think Yosemite, Grand Canyon, the Smithsonian Museums in D.C. Passports and visas, there will be big delays in halted processing. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees will be furloughed without pay, and unlike past shutdowns, agencies have been told to prepare for permanent layoffs. Small Business Administration loans, housing grants, and research funding all paused. IRS operations, refunds can be delayed, audits paused, but you still owe taxes. New federal contracts, scientific research, and public broadcasting funding all frozen until Congress passes a bill. Now, Social Security checks will keep coming. Medicare and Medicaid benefits will continue. Veterans benefits and disability payments will still go out. Unemployment insurance and food assistance programs like SNAP generally keep operating, though customer service and state-level processing may slow down. U.S. Postal Service stays open and is state-funded. Airports, TSA, and air traffic controllers keep working because they are considered essential, but expect long lines and delays since hiring and training freeze. This shutdown will begin at midnight on October 1st if no deal is made. Click that follow button. I'll keep you guys updated.
Welcome back from that. Those are the sentiments and opinions of the people about the potential shutdown. I did a bit of digging, and looks like even in 2018, when he was president, there was a shutdown that lasted, like, that was the longest in the history of the United States of America. I think it lasted about 34 days or something like that. And about 800,000 federal workers were literally working and they were not paid. Yeah. His plan has always been to have the mass layoffs of people in the name of cutting government spendings. But it looks like all the departments and all the people that he gets rid of, in some way, it's really not unnecessary spending. And people wonder, where is the money going to go to? You care so much about protecting the borders of America, but you don't care for the people that lives within the encampment of America. That's why Democrats are like, we still want Americans not to lose their, Medicare or medical services, because the big beautiful bill aims at actually cutting, having cuts on these services. For example, the Medicare, I think Medicaid, and that whole, Affordable Care Act. And so this is a stronghold for the, for the Democrats. They're like, we cannot come to terms if you want to get rid of this. Now, of course, the man himself, he goes ahead to say that Democrats are trying to protect, medical services for illegal aliens. I'm like, I don't know what you think about that. But that's how he twists things. And of course, the people normally believe it. Personally, I feel like if you really care about the people that live within, then you shouldn't be cutting most of these benefits, A lot of people are literally crying. When he came to power, 300,000 plus people lost their jobs. In this potential shutdown, this is not going to be like it is a pause. You all have seen and have heard from the people. Yeah? This is not going to be a pause that if the government opens up, these people have to come back. No, it's going to be permanent. Where is that money going to? Was that unnecessary spending as well? Or it is something that he used to his advantage because the Democrats failed to come to, to an agreement. But in this situation, it is not only the Democrats that are failing to actually come to an agreement, because he's literally been canceling meetings with these Democratic leaders. Now, of course, a lot of people are like, some of these leaders from the Democratic side are kind of sellouts, so they will cave in and literally let this go. And I don't know if it is going to happen. We have today and tomorrow for anything that needs to come up as a miracle in this Babylonian empire for the government not to shut down. But of course, who is going to be affected? You Americans are going to be affected because service delivery is going to be halted, especially in federal agencies, hospitals, those government offices. The services are going to be halted. Expect a lot of people to lose their jobs. Expect people that have contracts with the government. Even those, they also have to be affected. So, for those that have been living paycheck to paycheck, yeah, I don't know if it would be safe to assume that, Americans are going to go broke. Businesses are going to be affected. And all because of, those people can't sit on one table and see what is beneficial to the people. Because if all of them say they serve the people, I think they would close an eye for the people and make sure that in whatever decisions they are to take, they are not to hurt people. Because if Trump says that he cares about the people, there's quite a lot of things that he's cutting that are beneficial to the people. I wonder how they are going to be able to benefit out of this. Farmers have already been crying. Small businesses have already been crying. You've seen people being kicked out of nursing homes. That alone is there. You've seen people already crying about how the prices are going up. So, does he work for the people as he says, or he's trying to protect the corporations that milk Americans? But because your man has a big ego, he doesn't want to sit with these people because he calls their demands unserious. Yet meanwhile, they don't have enough money to run this whole entire thing. So, the Democrats are holding the key to this entire thing. But I don't know. I really, really don't know. From what you've seen, people are like, let this burn. Because if we voted for a black woman, I don't think we would be where we are right now. Yeah? Hey. That's Babylon for you. That's the United States of embarrassment. But I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section. Because for me, for today, I think that's all I can say about this. Just prepare yourself in time. Because, love all of you guys. And I'll see you guys later. Till then, my name is Gracie. Bye.